The world is quiet tonight, not silent, just resting. The sun has slipped completely beneath the horizon, leaving a thin band of silver light that melts slowly into blue. The air is cool, freshly washed by rain that ended hours ago. You can still smell it, the sweetness of wet bark, the clean, metallic trace of water on stone. A faint mist lies across the valley, and beyond it rises the forest, dark, tall, and waiting. You stand at its edge. A narrow path winds forward into shadow, soft with moss and pine needles. It looks as though no one has walked here for a very long time. The moon floats above the trees, huge and calm, spreading its gentle light along the edges of every leaf. You draw in a long, slow breath through your nose. The air is cold, and it makes your lungs feel wide and alive. When you exhale, the day leaves with the breath, the errands, the noise, the conversations, all dissolving into the night air. The first step onto the trail is softer than you expected. The earth gives just enough to hold you, not enough to resist you. Each step makes the faintest sound, a whisper of pine, a sigh of soil. You can already feel the rhythm beginning. Step, pause, breathe, step. As you move forward, the forest begins to breathe with you. A light wind moves through the branches above, and the needles shift and whisper. Somewhere far off, water runs, a creek, unseen but steady. The sound is low and round, like a voice humming a lullaby. You lift your eyes and watch the moonlight filter through the canopy. It doesn't fall in lines, but in soft patches, like milk poured across the ground. It catches on spider silk and turns it into silver thread. It rests on the curve of ferns and the smooth backs of stones. The light feels alive here, not bright, not cold, just quietly aware. You stop for a moment and let your hand rest on the trunk of a nearby pine. The bark is rough, layered, cool. You can smell the resin, sharp and sweet. The tree has been here longer than you've been alive, and tonight it stands like a guardian, saying nothing, asking nothing. Its silence feels kind. A deep breath in and out. Your shoulders drop. The muscles along your neck loosen. The tightness behind your eyes softens. The forest doesn't need you to think. It only asks that you be here. You take another step, then another. The path curves gently downhill, and the mist thickens around your ankles. It doesn't feel cold. It feels like walking through breath. Your own breath matches it. Slow, wide, natural. The day keeps sliding further away behind you. After a while, you notice the sound of the creek growing louder. The path bends toward it. Moonlight flickers between the trunks, flashing silver as you walk. Then you see it. A ribbon of moving light cutting through the darkness, scattering reflections like liquid glass. You crouch beside the bank. The water is clear enough to see pebbles resting at the bottom, smooth and round. Small bubbles form where the current meets a stone, burst silently, and are gone. You reach out and touch the surface. It's cool, almost cold, but pleasant. The water slides around your fingers and continues on, unbothered. For a few breaths, you stay there, watching the current. It feels endless. You think about how the water has been traveling for miles, from rain cloud to mountaintop, from mountaintop to valley, now past you, on its way to somewhere else. The thought makes you feel small in a peaceful way, like being a single note in a long, beautiful song. You find a flat stone near the edge and sit down. The ground accepts your weight without complaint. You rest your hands on your knees and watch the water for a long moment. When your mind tries to bring back the day, a conversation, a plan, a list, you let the thought appear, and then you give it to the water. You imagine it as a leaf floating away. The current takes it, spins it once, and pulls it downstream until you can't see it anymore. There will be more thoughts. That's fine. Each one gets the same gift. A leaf, a release, a farewell. The creek on the other side, the trail narrows and begins to climb. The incline is gentle. Each step warms your muscles a little more. Your heartbeat stays slow. Your breath steady. The air grows thicker with scent, a mix of earth, bark, and something sweet, almost floral. Somewhere nearby, night flowers have opened. Their fragrance drifts across the path like a greeting. As you climb, the sounds behind you fade. The creek's voice softens until it becomes a memory. Ahead, the forest deepens. The trees grow closer together, their trunks lined with faint moss that glows under the moonlight. You touch it as you pass. It's soft and slightly damp, like velvet left in cool shade. The moonlight here is more selective. It falls in small pools on the path, guiding your way step by step. Every patch of light feels deliberate, as if placed by some careful hand. The air hums faintly with energy, not sound, not movement, but something alive, like quiet electricity. You pause to listen. The forest is not silent. It never is. Beneath the obvious noises, the occasional drip of water, the whisper of wind, there's another layer, deeper and slower. It's the sound of growth, roots pushing, leaves turning, soil shifting, the slow heartbeat of the earth. You realize that you can feel it under your feet, a faint vibration, so subtle you might have imagined it. You stop to focus. There it is, steady, patient, old. You let it sink with your own pulse, two rhythms aligning, yours and the forest's. When you start walking again, you feel lighter. Each step lands exactly where it should. You don't have to think about direction. The path thinks for you. 2. The heart of the trail. The climb ends in a small clearing, surrounded by birch trees. Their trunks are pale as bone, and their leaves shimmer in the light breeze. You can hear them whispering to each other, a sound like 1,000 tiny paper fans. You step into the clearing, and the air immediately feels different. Warmer, safer, almost domestic. It's as though you've walked into a room that remembers you. In the center stands an old wooden bench. The wood is smooth, darkened by rain and time. You sit down, the bench giving a faint sigh under your weight. The moment you do, a deep peace settles over you, like a blanket laid across your shoulders. You close your eyes, breathe in, pine, damp earth, faint sweetness. Breathe out everything else. The forest sounds wrap around you, not intrusive, just present. Crickets counting time. The slow flap of a distant bird's wings. A twig snapping somewhere far away. Every sound exists exactly where it belongs. Your thoughts start to drift, but not the way they usually do. They don't race or multiply. They float like leaves on water, turning slowly in the current. You let them move. You don't reach for any of them. When you open your eyes again, the world seems softer. The edges of things, branches, stones, your own hands, have blurred slightly. The moon has climbed higher, its light almost white now. You notice the birch trunks reflecting it. Each one glows faintly, like candles that breathe. The space between them feels wide and gentle. You could stay here forever, you think, and nothing would rush you. But the forest isn't finished with you yet. Somewhere deeper, a sound calls. A low, steady rhythm, like drums far away. Not frightening, not urgent, just an invitation. You rise from the bench and follow. The path beyond the clearing is narrower, almost hidden by ferns. They brush against your legs as you move, leaving a trace of cool moisture on your skin. The air smells greener here, fresh, alive. The scent of leaves still making oxygen in the dark. The drumming sound grows clearer. Not drums after all, but water. A waterfall. Distant, but strong. You keep walking, drawn toward it. You sit on a flat stone near the edge, letting your feet dangle in the water. It's cold at first, then pleasant. The current moves around your ankles, wrapping them in motion. You close your eyes and let the rhythm of the waterfall take over. It doesn't take long for your breath to join it. In, the sound of falling water. Out, the feeling of letting go. The forest hums around you. You can almost feel it exhaling with you. Time stretches here. There's no sense of minutes or hours. There's only the continuous movement of water and air. After what could be a few minutes or a small eternity, you open your eyes. The mist has thickened slightly, glowing in the moonlight like pale smoke. Through it, you can just see the outlines of trees and stones, softened almost to a dream. The waterfall sound becomes part of the mist, part of you. You know you could stay here forever, but you also know the forest goes on. There's always a next place, another layer of stillness waiting. You stand, The water clings briefly to your skin, then falls away. You step back onto the path and continue downstream. The waterfall's voice follows you until it fades into memory. The trail is level now, bordered by tall grass that brushes your hands as you pass. Fireflies appear again, small sparks of gold. They drift lazily through the air, sometimes landing on a leaf, sometimes vanishing and reappearing a few feet away. You walk through them like through a moving constellation. The grass opens onto a small meadow. In the center stands an oak, wide and calm. Its trunk is thick, its bark ridged like folded fabric. The branches stretch so far they could shelter a house. Beneath it, the grass grows short and soft. You walk to the base of the oak and sit. The trunk is warm against your back. You tilt your head and look up through the branches. The moon peers back through the leaves, a silver eye between layers of green. The light filters down in thin strands and paints your hands with pale patterns. The oak hums faintly. You can feel it through your spine, a vibration more than a sound. You imagine it moving up from the roots, deep underground, up through the trunk, into your back, your neck, the crown of your head, the energy of earth meeting the stillness of night. You rest there, breathing, not thinking. The world feels round and safe. The oak's hum lingers in your spine, even after you stand. When you place a hand on its bark to steady yourself, the vibration answers you like a heartbeat that isn't your own. You breathe with it for a moment, slow, deep, grateful, and then let your fingers slide away. The forest exhales, and you begin to walk again. The path curves, soft as ribbon. The air has changed. It carries a faint sweetness now, almost like honey warmed by the sun that left hours ago. Somewhere ahead, you hear a low trill, a nightjar calling to its mate. The sound rises, falls, and rises again, woven with the chirring of crickets. It feels like being inside a lullaby, composed entirely of living things. You walk without hurry. The ground here is covered in moss, thick enough to remember every footstep. Each step leaves a shallow print that slowly fills back in as if the forest erases the past to keep the present perfect. Your feet no longer make noise. The only proof of movement is your breath, soft and regular, echoing the forest's pulse. Soon the trees grow taller, older. Their trunks rise straight for meters before branching, and their roots push up from the soil like the backs of sleeping whales. You weave between them easily, touching each one as you pass. Every tree feels slightly different, some dry and rough, others cool and slick where moss has taken hold. Each touch is grounding, reminding you that you are part of this ancient rhythm. The moon has shifted toward the west, its light now angled in pale gold instead of silver. It filters through the canopy in thin, trembling shafts. Dust motes drift through. You scoop a little water and let it run between your palms, catching the moon in every drop. Across the brook, something glows. A stand of white mushrooms sprouting from a fallen log. You cross easily, stepping from stone to stone. When you reach them, you see they're larger than you first thought, and the glow is soft, bluish, steady. You kneel to look closer. The gills beneath each cap are fine and symmetrical, like lace. A beetle the size of your thumb crawls across one, its shell reflecting the light like glass. It pauses, then disappears into shadow. You realize the whole forest is alive with small travelers you cannot see. Every branch and hollow a world of its own. The thought makes you smile. You're not alone here. You never were. The air cools again as a breeze stirs the canopy. Leaves flutter down, some landing on your shoulders. You brush them away gently and continue. The path climbs once more, curling around a low hill. As you ascend, the wind grows stronger, carrying hints of cedar and rain. You can see the tops of trees shimmering under moonlight, like the surface of an ocean. At the summit, the view opens. You stop and take it in. Below you stretches a valley filled with mist. The moonlight paints the fog silver white, and through it glint the threads of rivers, the dark ribs of ridges, the scattered lanterns of distant villages. It feels endless, like looking into a memory of peace that belongs to everyone. You close your eyes. The scent changes as you go. Less pine now, more earth and fern. The ground is darker, damper. Tiny mushrooms cluster at the base of trees, like constellations fallen to the ground. The moonlight finds them and scatters. You begin counting them without meaning to. 1, 2, 5, 11, and lose count halfway through, distracted by how beautiful they are. Far ahead, a faint glow appears, amber, not moonlight. You walk toward it, heart slow, curiosity gentle. As you approach, you see that it comes from a lantern hanging on a wooden post beside the trail. The lantern is simple: glass panes, a metal frame, a small flame inside. The light flickers with every breeze, painting the nearby leaves gold. You reach out and touch the post. It's warm. Someone must have lit it not long ago, you think, though you sense no presence nearby. Perhaps the forest itself keeps these small lights for travelers. You whisper another thank you and keep walking, guided by that glow until it fades behind you. The path begins to slope downward again, winding through younger trees whose trunks are slim and close together. Their branches meet overhead, forming a tunnel. Moonlight filters through in shifting stripes that cross your face and shoulders as you move. It feels like walking through the ribs of a living creature, the forest breathing around you. The temperature drops slightly, crisp and refreshing. You pull your arms around yourself, not from cold, but from a quiet pleasure in being small within something vast. Halfway through the tunnel, you notice tiny glints in the soil. Mica, perhaps, catching the moon. Each sparkle appears, disappears, appears again. You imagine they're the forest's way of showing you breadcrumbs back home, though you don't want to leave yet. The thought of home is already here, in the trees, in the air, in the rhythm of your steps. The tunnel ends suddenly, opening into another clearing, larger than any before. The ground here is covered in grass so soft, it looks like fog made solid. At the center stands a circle of stones waist high, each one covered in lichen that glows faintly green. Inside the circle burns a small fire, steady, low, almost blue at its heart. You hesitate at the edge, then step closer. The warmth reaches you before the sound does. The fire crackles softly, its smoke rising straight up, carrying the scent of cedar and sage. You sit on one of the stones. The surface is cool beneath you, but the air is warm on your skin. You close your eyes and feel the two temperatures meet, a balance of opposites. Your hands rest on your knees, palms open. The flicker of light plays across your eyelids in patterns of gold and shadow. You don't speak. You don't need to. The fire speaks in tiny languages of pop and sigh. The forest listens. You breathe in through your nose, slow and deep, drawing warmth down into your chest. You hold it for 3 heartbeats, then release, long and thin, until there's nothing left to let go of. something shifts inside you, almost imperceptible. It's as if a locked door somewhere has been opened. An air you forgot existed begins to circulate. The muscles in your hands and feet let go. The corners of your mouth soften. You feel, for the first time in a while, weightless. The moon has reached its highest point now, sitting directly above the clearing. Its light meets the firelight, mixing gold and silver into a single color that doesn't exist anywhere else. You open your eyes. The stones around the fire seem to hum faintly, just at the edge of hearing. It's not sound exactly, more a sense that everything nearby is vibrating in agreement. You realize your heartbeat has matched it. Slow, steady, peaceful. You stay there for a long while. When your thoughts begin to drift again, you let them. They circle lazily, like smoke rising and thinning until it disappears into night. Nothing to solve, nothing to change, only breath and warmth and stillness. Eventually you rise. The fire continues to burn, though the air is still. You step backward once, then turn. The path behind the clearing slopes down into darker woods. You follow it, your eyes already adjusted to the softer light. The ground becomes spongy with moss again. Each footstep lands silently, leaving faint impressions that spring back. The slope widens at its base into a corridor of alder and ash. Their trunks are pale, their bark traced with silver lines that catch the moonlight like old handwriting. The air is dense with scent, wet leaves, cool mineral, the faint sweetness of mushroom and bark. Everything feels older here, but kind. You move forward with deliberate slowness. Your breath and footsteps have merged into a rhythm you no longer control. It's as though the forest is walking for you. The trail bends beside a fallen tree split cleanly down the middle. Inside the wood, thin threads of luminous fungus wind like constellations. You run your fingers across the grooves and feel the texture of time. Smooth in some places, splintered in others. It smells faintly of vanilla and rain. You whisper a thank you don't entirely understand, and continue. A fog is forming again, not low like mist this time, but tall, rising from the ground in pale columns that twist among the trunks. Moonlight filters through them and breaks into faint rainbows. You lift a hand and color dances across your skin. Violet, blue, green, gone. It It feels like standing inside a slow aurora. The sound around you dampens. Even the crickets hush. The only thing left is your heartbeat, a quiet, steady drum. You pass through the fog until it thins, and suddenly the trees open onto another clearing. At its center is a shallow pool ringed by reeds and lilies. Fireflies drift above it like drifting notes of music. A small breeze touches the water and bends the lilies sideways, and the surface shivers once, then stills. You kneel at the edge. The moon sits on the water's skin, bright and entire. You reach out, skim the surface with a fingertip, and the moon ripples apart. For an instant you see thousands of moons, one in each drop. Then they merge again, calm restored. You breathe out, and the ripples fade with your exhale. Behind you, the fog continues its slow migration through the trees, curling around trunks, slipping across the ground. It doesn't chase you. It simply follows, like memory keeping pace. You walk along the edge of the pool until the reeds part and reveal a narrow wooden pier, no wider than your shoulders. It stretches a few meters into the water. You step onto it. The boards creak softly. Halfway down, you sit with your legs crossed and let them dangle just above the surface. The reflection of the moon sits directly beneath your feet. If you moved, you could almost touch it. You stay there for a long time, breathing the smell of damp wood and cool night. The temperature of the air matches your skin. No boundary, no edge. You are part of the evening's equilibrium. Your mind drifts back to moments you've forgotten, summer evenings from years ago. The sound of rain on a tin roof, the smell of freshly cut grass, the hush after laughter fades. They come not as sharp memories, but as textures, soft and forgiving. They pass through you like warm wind through tall grass, leaving only stillness behind. When you finally stand, the world seems a little brighter. The fog has thinned. A soft path of light runs ahead, tracing the shoreline. You follow it, bare feet silent on damp soil. Each step sinks slightly, then lifts cleanly, leaving no mark. The forest floor glows faintly, moss catching the moon, stones reflecting dew. You begin to notice patterns underfoot, spirals made of fallen petals, small circles of toadstools, trails of quartz dust crossing the path. It feels as though the forest has written something in a language older than words. You don't need to translate. Your body understands. It relaxes another layer deeper, responding instinctively to the quiet order all around. A few meters ahead, the path forks. To the left, you hear water again. Gentle, rhythmic, almost like breathing. To the right, the air glows warmer, touched by the faint orange of unseen flame. You choose neither yet. You stop, close your eyes, and listen. Both directions feel right. Both lead toward rest. You smile and take the right path, letting the warm light draw you forward. Soon you find its source, a hollow in the hillside lined with stone, open to the sky. Inside burns a ring of embers, the remnants of a fire, still alive but quiet. The stones radiate heat. A sound joins the wind, soft footsteps. You open your eyes and see a deer standing at the edge of the hollow. Its fur glows faintly in the firelight, and its eyes reflect 2 tiny moons. It looks at you, still, assessing, but without fear. You lower your gaze in respect. When you look again, it has stepped closer. It sniffs the air once, then lowers its head to drink from a puddle beside the stones. You watch in silence. When it finishes, it raises its head, regards you once more, and walks away into the trees, its white tail flashing briefly, then gone. You realize you hadn't moved, hadn't even breathed fully. Now you do, slowly, reverently. The fire has dimmed further. You scoop a handful of earth and sprinkle it over the embers. They fade from orange to dull red to black. A faint wisp of smoke curls upward, carrying the scent of sage and cedar. You watch it disappear into the dark, then rise and continue. The trail leads downhill again, this time toward the heart of the valley. The trees thin, the air opens. You begin to hear a new sound, broad and layered, like wind through reeds. When you reach the bottom, you see its source, a vast field of tall grass waving in the moonlight. Each blade bends in the same direction, then sways back, a slow ocean of silver. You step into it, and the grass parts easily. The stalks brush your arms, whispering faintly. The air smells of clover and wild mint. You move deeper until the forest behind you becomes a dark wall. In the middle of the field, a single standing stone rises from the earth. It's tall, carved with shallow grooves you can't quite read. You place your palm against it. It's warm, not from the sun, but from something older, something that remembers the heat of the earth's core. The vibration you felt in the oak returns, stronger here. It travels up your arm, through your chest, into your skull. It's not a noise, it's a feeling of belonging, of being seen. You close your eyes and rest your forehead against the stone. For a while, there is nothing else. No sound but your breath. No thought but gratitude. When you finally open your eyes, the moon has tilted westward. The field glows softer now, more subdued. You feel drowsy, your limbs pleasantly heavy. Sleep waits at the edges of awareness, patient and kind. You lie down where you stand, the grass cushioning you immediately. It folds under your weight and holds you as though made for this. You turn onto your side, facing the forest you came from. Between the blades of grass, fireflies pulse, slow, steady, synchronized. They flicker in rhythm with your breath until it's impossible to tell whether they're following you or you're following them. The stars above look close enough to touch. The moonlight has dimmed behind a thin cloud. A faint breeze runs through the field, moving the grass around you like waves. You float inside it, weightless. Thoughts still appear, but now they arrive softened, half words, half colors. A memory of laughter, a flash of childhood, a promise you made to yourself to rest more often. They rise, linger, dissolve. Each one leaves you lighter. You are not walking anymore. You are being carried. The forest has taken the task of movement for you. All that's left is breathing. In, cool night air. Out, the last of the day. In, the scent of grass. Out, the need to think. Your heartbeat slows further. Your eyelids flutter once, twice. The line between waking and dreaming blurs. The field rocks you gently, endlessly. You lie in the tall grass, the world around you gently breathing. The air feels like velvet against your skin, cool but not cold. Every sound has softened. the distant creek, the whisper of wind through trees, the slow sway of the meadow. It all folds into one long exhale that stretches across the night. Above you, the moon mist drapes across the valleys, catching faint glows from beneath. The mushrooms, the moss, the lingering warmth of fires long gone out. Every part of the forest still breathes, and your breath joins it. You are the rhythm now, not separate, not observer, but participant. The forest inhales, you exhale. The forest exhales, you inhale. It's perfect symmetry. Far away, thunder murmurs once, low and round. But there is no storm, only distance. A reminder that the world continues in circles of sound and quiet. Rain may come again, or it may not. Either way, you are safe here. The breeze returns, softer than before, tracing its fingers through the meadow. It brushes your hair across your face, then pulls it back. Each strand moves with unhurried grace, catching faint moisture from the air. You can taste it when you breathe. That sweet, green flavor of living earth. A tiny droplet lands on your cheek, then another, then a few more. Not rain, just dew gathering early, drawn down by gravity and moonlight. Each drop cools your skin, anchors you to this exact moment in time. You think, I am here. I am breathing. I am okay. The forest answers by deepening its quiet. Crickets hush one by one, as if dimming lights in a theater. Somewhere, a distant owl gives a final call, one note that echoes, fades, and does not return. The air thickens with silence. It's not empty. It's full of everything resting at once. You roll slightly onto your back and look up. The sky seems lower now, closer, heavier, comforting. Stars shift subtly, blinking in slow rhythm, and you realize you could count them if you wanted, but you don't. You'd rather just feel them. Each star feels like a slow heartbeat, a pulse shared between sky and body. Your eyelids grow heavier. You let them fall halfway closed. The world blurs. Outlines dissolve. Colors mix into one deep shade of blue and silver. You are somewhere between seeing and dreaming. The forest has begun to change. It's no longer a place you walk through. It's something that moves inside you. You feel it as warmth in your stomach, coolness in your fingertips, and stillness in your breath. Roots seem to stretch from beneath your spine into the ground, connecting you directly to the soil. The pulse beneath you is steady, ancient. You can almost hear it. A slow thum, thum, thum that vibrates the grass, the stone, the marrow of your bones. It's the heartbeat of the earth itself, and you are lying directly on top of it. It tells you without words, you belong, you are safe, you can rest now. You breathe once, deeply, then again. With every exhale, you release one more layer of tension. Shoulders, arms, jaw, eyes, breath. The muscles loosen, fall open, fade. Even your thoughts start to stretch, thin, and disappear like smoke. Your body is heavy, but not burdened, weighted perfectly for rest. You could move, but there is no reason to. Everything that matters has already arrived. Everything that doesn't has already gone. A soft hum fills the air, faint at first, then more distinct. It's not a machine, not music, but vibration. It moves like sound underwater, round, distant, infinite. You realize it's the forest, singing in its own language, a tone that matches the pitch of peace. You don't hear it with your ears. You hear it with your whole body. Every cell responds to the resonance. It's the same frequency as a heartbeat slowed by calm. The same tone as an ocean settling after a wave. The hum steadies. It's constant now, and in its presence, your breathing changes again, slower, deeper, quieter. Inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 6. The pattern repeats naturally. A voice, your own or the forest's, you can't tell, whispers. There's nowhere to go. You've already arrived. The sound of your breath becomes softer than air. Even the smallest muscles in your hands and face stop trying. You feel your heart slowing. Thum, thum, thum. The rhythm matches the hum of the forest. You and it are indistinguishable. Now the world begins to fade in pieces. The horizon dissolves first, edges blending into mist. The trees melt into shadow. The sky turns to liquid. The stars sink into it, one by one, like pearls dropping into water. And then, finally, the moon lets go too, drifting downward until it becomes just another reflection. There's only one light left now, faint, golden, pulsing from somewhere beneath you. It feels like your own heart. The glow rises, spreads across your chest, your throat, your face, until everything is warm again. You are being rewoven, every cell exhaling, every thought surrendering. You hear faint phrases inside the warmth, not words exactly, but meanings. You've done enough. You can rest now. You are loved, even by the silence. You smile without realizing it. The muscles move slowly, then still. A last breath escapes your lips, quiet and long. It carries the last of your waking mind into the dark, safe folds of rest. The forest listens one final time. Then it begins to hum again, lower, slower. Its rhythm becomes lullaby. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Everything merges. You are gone, but safely so, dissolved into dream, into night, into earth. There is no story now, no time, no thought, only the sound of wind through grass, only the pulse of soil, only the rhythm of deep, perfect sleep. Sleep, deep, peaceful, unbroken.